I call Stephen Browning.
Mr. Speaker, this year we're looking forward to a change in government, but there are things this government can do ahead of that, and one of that is to actually meet its obligations in terms of GE food labelling. For 10 years, governments have not either monitored or enforced the rules around the labelling of genetically engineered foods, and consumers, because of that, have not had choice. We want that choice. We want GE foods labelled. It's actually in MPI's, or it's on MPI's website, the actual requirements, when it's required, when there's a discretion, and the range of coverage in there. But what have these governments done? What has this government done? It has missed it. It's been brought to its attention and it has still missed it. The reason why it's so critical that people should have choice is that there are toxins in genetically engineered food. Just by the sheer nature of the genetic engineering, there is toxins in there. The two main... Can you please just quieten down for a while there? I was waiting for the Speaker to intervene, maybe. Toxins in GE food, there's two main types. They're resistant to insects in one case, and if that's the case, you've got Bt toxins in there. The CRY gene is inserted in there, and by the very nature of that genetic engineering, Bt is throughout that plant. It's right through into the food that is harvested and consumed by people, and we now know that it goes right through into fetal blood. It doesn't just go through the digestive system and get spat out. No, it doesn't. It's getting absorbed, and that is a toxin that we don't want in that form. The other one in particular that is well known is glyphosate. Glyphosate has been used heavily on genetically engineered soy and other crops because they are herbicide resistant, to make it easier for farmers to dodge some cultivation and other forms of weed control. But of course, since when do we want our food doused with a herbicide when we know that food is going to have far more of that herbicide in it right through to harvest, right through processing, right into the kitchen, into our children and ourselves' food? We need to be able to choose whether we have that food or not. There's a 2.5 times greater use of the herbicides on genetically engineered crops. I want to choose, and most New Zealanders do. Out of something like 60 applications for genetically engineered lines that Food Standards Australia and New Zealand considers on behalf of Australia and New Zealand, there's something more than 85 lines that have been approved. So that's over soybean, canola, lucerne, corn, sugar beet, rice, potato and cotton. Over 80. There's some fresh ones in the pipeline sitting there waiting at the moment. Another one, canola, herbicide resistant to glyphosate again. There's more. There's another one for the Bt toxin to go right through soybeans. And we are using a huge amount more soy in New Zealand than we ever did before, and it's totally pervasive through the food supply. We deserve to have that food labelled if it's got GE in it. The real concern, of course, is even the new ones that have resistance to 3 different herbicides. 2,4-D, I don't want food sprayed with 2,4-D or glyphosate or glufosinate ammonium, but that is what is being ticked through, rubber stamped, and this government has not done anything about monitoring and enforcing the labelling that its own Ministry of Primary Industries is meant to do. The Greens will ensure that this happens. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Chester Borrows.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to